Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Andrew.
How are you? It looks like we're getting directed to start streaming live on Facebook. I just want to double check. It's being a little slow, and I think we are up and running right now. Let me just double check this on my phone. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we're live. Yay. All right.
Hi, everybody.
Yay, everybody. So, Hannah and I, this is our first Facebook Live. We're really excited about it because we found out some really crazy stuff, right, Hannah? After we were getting ready to send out our mailers to our past clients and a couple of neighborhoods that we specialize in. And I thought it was appropriate to do a video, right, Hannah? I mean,
Yeah, for
were,
sure.
were you shocked when I had shared
The
some of this stuff with
secrets of being a real estate agent.
It's true, right? So that was what kind of prompted us to do this. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Andrew Arevalo. I am the owner and operator of Arevalo Home Partnership with Compass. And Hannah, I'll let you know who Hannah is. I'll let her speak for herself, in fact. But go ahead, Hannah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah Williamson, and I work with Andrew as his marketing coordinator. And I've been with Andrew for 7 months now, and I'm just super excited to be here to talk to
Awesome.
everybody today.
Yeah, it's super exciting. So we've been in real estate for almost 12 years now. It's crazy to say that. We got in 2009, and we have progressively have sharpened our skills, is what I would like to probably say to that. And I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to information. I just look at information because it kind of tells us what to expect currently and also possibly in the future as well. And every quarter, typically we would like to send out quarterly newsletters to our past clients, people that have purchased from us or sold their homes with us. And Hannah was like, hey, maybe we should do a market update for our clients. And I said, it's a brilliant idea for here the first quarter, kind of see what the comparison is post pandemic, right? Or, we're just kind of still in it, I think it's fair to say. And I found out some shocking information. And Hannah, you're in the process of purchasing a home and listing your home as well.
Right.
When I had shared this information with you, what kind of went through your head, just out of curiosity?
Now is the time to list.
And that's fair. That's totally fair to say for sure. So that's it. I think that's really what it comes down to. And I'm going to speak for myself. We're actually going to be selling our rental that we have here in Inglewood, and we're going to take the proceeds from that and do our best to really, I guess, spread our wealth. We're trying to buy 2 to 3 properties in Las Vegas right now. Because it's like we have so much equity in this. There are other markets that don't have this, I guess, quote unquote, privilege. So it's
Mhm.
really important for me to kind of just take advantage of that. So, anyways, long story short, that's kind of where I'm coming from in this regard. So, what is this information that I guess I'm withholding, right? And the shocking part was the um, average price from this time last year to today. But more importantly, the number of homes for sale from this point last year to today as well. And this is the lowest ever. And I think we publish this in our newsletter as well, like the what I'm about to say.
We are about to, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the shocking part for sure. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys now, and I want to show you this crazy part in regards to um, how I was able to come up with this information. And it's not something I just created on my own. It's literally data. So if you can see my screens, Hannah, can you tell me if you can see my screen?
I can, yeah.
Awesome. So this is our broker site, our back end site that us real estate brokers have access to. You have to pay a fee. You don't have access to this as a consumer. But regardless, we can create reports, in regards to pretty much anything. And I have some kind of shortcuts here, and I like to always go back 10 years just to kind of see what the key indicators are. So I'm going to start with the price, the average price in the last 10 years. So I'm going to click on this little graph or on this little tab here, and it's going to pull up a graphic, but I want to not necessarily look at the graphic, but more importantly, look at the data, the
Mhm.
tabular data. And this is what you're going to want to pay attention to right here. Um, so we're today's February, what, 19th, right?
Yes.
February hasn't published yet because we're still living in February. So that's why you're going to see a blank here. But January has published. I mean, that's January's, almost 3 weeks old now. But look at this, Hannah. Isn't this crazy? The average price right
Crazy.
now, yeah, it's insane. So the average price is $625,000 as of January of 2021, whereas last year it was $515,000. That's a $110,000 increase in value. And to break it down a little bit better is your home value, no matter where you're at, on average is going up about $10,000 month over month just in the past year.
Right.
So I know, Hannah, you and your husband were looking to purchase a home back in the summer,
We were.
and you were
And
like,
I'm
well, what's
so
our,
glad we waited.
yeah, exactly, right? Because in essence, it probably gains you or earns you another, what, 40, 50, maybe even $60,000, right?
Yep.
So what does this kind of tell you, just out of curiosity, just as a consumer, Hannah? I mean, honestly.
Uh, like I said, now is the time to sell if you're really considering it. I mean, we'd love to talk to you. I mean, I know that we're on the bandwagon. We're getting ready to list our home and we're looking to build new. So
That's great.
if you're considering it, now is the time.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. So it's interesting to just see this. And if you just look, this is what's crazy. So if we go back, 625,000 January, 601 in December, 600, 613. So this is the highest ever. I mean, we could go back years and years and years. But here's the shocking information. Look at January of 2011 here. It was 269,000 was the average price in Denver. So a lot of people that live in Denver have, maybe natives or for a very long time, they're very upset that the prices have went up.
Hmm.
And, the only thing I can say to that is, sorry, I guess. Denver's very popular and it's only going to continue to get expensive. And I do want to sum this up as well. This is single family homes. This isn't condos or townhouses. And these are for the 6 following counties. In fact, you can see it on my screen: Adams County, Arapahoe, Denver, Broomfield, Douglas, and Jefferson. Boulder's kind of its own breed. El Paso County, which is where Colorado Springs is, just too far south. So this is kind of the Denver metro area. If you think of like the C470 loop, or yeah, C470 loop, that's kind of the Denver metro area. So it's shocking. And the last part to this isn't all price ranges. So the lowest priced home all the way up to the most expensive home that's on the market in these counties is, here. You're going to see, probably if you do a lot of research, a variety of data, and they're probably pulling from the whole MLS, and that's great, and that's totally fine, and that's appropriate. But we're looking at the 6 counties that make up the Denver metro area. So let's go over, I want to show you again the number of listings. And this is really where my jaw just dropped, which makes, yeah, this is where it just dropped, like I said, because when I saw last year to today, it makes sense why people are going crazy at the same time.
Hmm.
Because if you're a buyer in this market right now, you're like, why can't I find a home? And I'm going to
Right.
share a couple stories with you as well recently that will really kind of cement this. So again, I want to look at the data here, but the number of listings that hit the market in January, um, these are single family homes again in the 6 counties, was 1,300. This is the lowest ever on record, as far back as data, digitized has been published. If you look at last year, it was 3,100. So less than half the number of homes for sale than there are in January. And, like I said, I'm going to speak to this and tell you a couple stories, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. But I remember I'm helping a friend right now. In fact, we're still under contract from
Mhm.
high school, and we had to go over like $20,000, pretty much give the seller everything that they wanted, and do free rent back for us to get the house. And oh, by the way, it wasn't even in town. It was in Bennett, Strasburg. So, 45 minutes out of town per se. That's what we had to do even. So it's just not happening, in Denver. It's happening out, kind of outside the circle as well. And that's what you're having to do to get into a house right now, is to be competitive. You kind of have to almost be willing to accept home as is. I never really advocate for that, to be quite
Mhm.
honest. At the end of the day, it's my client's decision if that's what they want to do. But they have to be willing to be flexible. And one of our most recent ones was down in Colorado Springs. And my client, he said it best. He goes, the listing prices are really arbitrary. And I was like, wow, that's actually true. And a lot of people don't really have a plan. They just put up this price, and what's a home worth? Home is worth whatever somebody's willing
That's
to pay
what you're
for it.
there for.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So for in his instance, we had to go $35,000 over the asking price, and we got it. And what's crazy, I didn't share this with you, Hannah, but he actually walked in the home with equity, believe it or not. The appraisal came back at $5,000 over what we were under contract for. So just in that 1 month time, he already had instant equity. Isn't that insane?
That is insane. That's what we
So
love to hear.
yeah, for sure. So and tell me just a little bit about you, because we're helping you purchase a new build, and what just happened to you guys that you just you I guess came to realize, for lack of better words.
As far as like the pricing difference, so
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so they just released some lots. We're looking to build down in Solstice, down in Trails Edge. If you haven't checked it out, talk to Andrew. It's beautiful. It's gonna be amazing. So um they just released 4 lots, and right now we're just not interested in those specific lots. Well, with time going over or whatever, um, the price is continuing to increase. Well, the builders are catching on with what's going on, and as far as like just general real estate being sold on the market. So I'm, I guess what more do you want me to say? I don't know.
Sure.
It's going up in price, I should
Yeah,
say. So
yeah,
now is the time to kind of lock down get in and lock down what you want to buy.
yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit it right on. You got to get in right now, because these prices aren't going anywhere. And these builders, they know, right?
Right.
How much did they go up in value, like the lot, like the base price increased?
$10,000.
10 grand, 10
Hmm.
grand, which makes sense, right? Because I just said
Yeah.
from this time last year, they went up $10,000, right? So it's incredible. If you buy a house now, next month it's going to be $10,000 more than it was when you purchased it. In fact,
Exactly.
it reminds me of a story with my cousin. He's wanting to purchase, um, and he's probably going to watch this and be like, "Why did you?" I'm not going to say his name, but he's wanting to buy, and he goes, "Well, hey Andrew, we're going to wait. We're going to wait a year to buy." And I'm like, "Okay, I love you,
Don't do
cuz.
it.
Don't do it." And why? Because you're going to lock in this year's prices. If you wait next year, you're going to be paid next year's prices. And I
Mhm.
told him to consider buying new, because it's going to take 6 to 12 months to buy. And if he does want to wait, in fact, a year, well, he can pick out all of his finishes and what have you, and lock in his price as well. Now it's up to him if that's what he wants to do. Certainly, at the end of the day, and this is what I'm trying to tell everybody, if you're thinking about buying, you have to do it now. These prices are not going to stay. I don't see them going down. Again, I'm just looking at the information, and it's telling us
Right.
listings are not coming up for sale.
Well, especially if you're even unhappy with where you are right now. Like,
Hmm.
I know I can speak on behalf of people who are working from home right now, and it's not just me, it's my husband. And when the kids weren't going to school, it's crazy, and our space feels a lot smaller. So
Yeah, it's crowded.
why would you continue to wait?
Right. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense right now. And you're probably sitting on a nugget too. You probably don't even realize it. But again, I'm just talking about my own personal experience. We purchased our condo townhouse that we're renting out right now. We purchased it for 100 and I think it was 160, and now it's worth 270. I mean, that's $100,000 in 4 years' time. And they were paying our rent and what have you, but it's neither here nor there. This is the time you do it. At the end of the day, this is the time. And I want to wrap this up with one last thing, and it's one of our newest listings that we have for sale. And the clients were like, when we sat down, when did we sit down with them? About a month ago, a little over a month ago, I want to say.
Yep.
We had talked about a price. They're like, hey, Andrew, what should we list the home for? And I said, okay, this is what we should list it for. And they were like, yeah, that's great. That's pretty competitive. Well, they needed to do some stuff. They needed to finish the basement, paint, do a couple other things that they wanted to do. And they came back to me right before we listed it just a few days ago, and they said, hey, Andrew, what about listing it for $10,000 more? And I said, my natural inclination was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. But I was like, let me look. What's it going to hurt to look? So I looked, and sure enough, it supported what they wanted.
Hmm.
And we changed the price, and right now I think we have 26 confirmed showings already for this house, and
Another
showing.
thing
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
too is, sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm thinking about when Jeff and I originally first started looking to go look at houses that
Mhm.
were listed. I mean, if you don't set up your showing right away, you don't get to view the house because they get filled up so quickly.
Yeah, you
That's
snooze, you
the reason
lose.
why we went with building new. We're like, we're not putting up with all that. So,
Yeah, and even I mean, to your point, Hannah, the building process is a little,
well,
tedious
that
as
too.
well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and if you don't know, if you're watching this or at some point, in the future watching this, building process is way different than a purchase process, because in this case, this builder that Hannah and her husband are using, they do lot releases, and they do it by a prioritization schedule. So in essence, you're still competing, but it's not a direct competition, because if
right.
you want a specific lot, you have to wait for it. But that's another time for another discussion. But you also have to wait on some level as well, right?
Yep.
Which again brings me back full circle to Chris, in their house that we have listed for sale. It's just going to continue to go up. And if you don't get in, showings start next Saturday. I expect there to be 60 showings by this time next Saturday. There's not going to be any spots open, and they're ready to make a
Which their
decision.
house is beautiful.
Yeah, it
Check
is.
it
It's
out.
amazing. Yeah, and I told them that. They were like, oh, I think they were being really coy, if I can be honest. They have a great looking house, and I love the modesty that they have, but there's obviously 25 people that want to look at it already, if not more. So I'm certainly really excited about that. But Hannah, you had a question for me before we jumped on that you wanted me to answer, a couple questions, and I want to make sure to answer those for you.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of people when they're looking for a house, they have 50 million questions, and you get with your realtor, you start looking at houses, and it may kind of just slip through the cracks, and you're about to go to sleep at night, you're like, oh goodness gracious, I didn't ask Andrew this. So
Right.
just some general questions like, when you are searching for a home in a neighborhood, are you legally able to disclose if there's been a death at the house, if there's been crime within that neighborhood? Is there a buyer beware that you can?
Right, right. So I can only speak to Colorado standards. Specifically, we're also licensed in Nevada, specifically in Las Vegas. So if you're watching this, move out to Vegas, we can definitely take care of you out there as well. But I'm going to speak about Colorado. In Colorado, stigmatized properties, meaning somebody was murdered or anything like that in a property specifically, you do not have to disclose it. And at the end of the day, can you take somebody to court and probably win and say, they should have told us, it was a mass murder here? I, I always like to lean on the air of caution. I'm not an attorney, I have to say that, but I operate out of, you know, why not? Why not tell them? What's it going to hurt? If you said something, at least you made it be known. But by law, state of Colorado again, you don't have to disclose it. So,
Honesty is the best policy, I
I
think.
mean, that's a good principle to live by for sure. So yeah, sadly, in Colorado, you don't have to do that. So what was the other question though? Did I answer that one?
Yeah, you did. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
And then another thing, just because obviously with the market being so crazy right now,
Mhm.
and all of these showings, do
Right.
you think it would be best if, let's say, when we go to list our house, that we
Mhm.
should install security cameras within our house?
Great question. And I was trying to remember what the question was. So yeah, great question. And so there's this article that just came out that was released by the National Association of Realtors. Um, and I also took a continuing education class on it as well. But you can certainly put video in your home, but um, if you record the audio, it's considered to be wiretapping. And that's actually a
Interesting.
potential, yeah, it's a potential federal offense. So you have to be really careful with that. Um, I tell people that have cameras in their house, you can certainly have them. It's not a problem. But if you're recording conversations, it could be a problem. And security, why not? At the same time, I have cameras all over our house, indoor, outdoor. Um, and it's good to know what's going on. I mean, I'm going to be super real right now. There's a lot of creepers out there, and one of the most recent articles I read were, in fact, I almost want to send it as part of a link to this video is, um, there have been agents that have went into people's closets and drawers.
Yeah.
And it's like disturbing to think that, but they're out there. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
sad truth. So, you know, in addition to that, I always tell our clients, anything that's of value in your home, take it out.
Yeah.
Whether it be prescription medicine, as crazy as that is,
Hmm.
iPods, anything that could be kind of slipped in your pocket, jewelry, just take it out. Guns, ammo, anything of value that you consider to be value. And hell, you could even say that somebody else might think of value. Take it out. It's just not worth the stress and headache and anxiety, because it is a stressful process for sure. So is that
Yeah.
helpful? Did
Hmm.
that answer your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to know more information, guys, just to kind of sum everything up about everything we've talked about in more detail, certainly encourage you to reach out to us. We'll give you our phone number in the comments below. But yeah, it's definitely worth having the conversation if you are potentially in the market to either buy or sell, to know what your home is worth. Because I'm telling you right now, it's worth a lot, and by the time you're ready, it might be worth even a lot more.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's something to consider, guys. Interest rates are low. They have inched up a little bit. Our lenders can certainly talk to you about that in more detail, but we're really excited you watch the very end. Thank you, Hannah, for your questions that you had as well. I think it's helpful for people out there that are in the market. So otherwise, have a great rest of your guys' weekend and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, Hannah.
Bye,
See
everybody.
ya.